Somewhere in Georgia, right now, there is a machine rusting in a barn that once did the work of 40 men. A farmer paid good money for it. His father did too. And if you drive the back roads of South Georgia today, you'll still find these machines for sale. $2,000, shed kept, no parts missing, ready for next season. Here's the part that doesn't make sense. The machines are everywhere, but the company that built them, gone, erased from the map. A billion-dollar idea that fed half of America's peanut crop and then simply vanished. Its name surviving only on rusting steel and faded want ads. This is the story of how a single company in Albany, Georgia became the king of an entire American harvest and then disappeared so completely that most people farming today have never even heard the name. Stay with me, because what killed this company is not what you think. And the twist at the end? It's still happening, right now, in a field near you. Let me take you back, way back. For most of human history, harvesting peanuts was brutal. And I mean genuinely, back-breakingly brutal. Think about it. A peanut doesn't grow on a tree where you can just reach up and grab it. It grows underground. Every single nut is buried in the dirt, clinging to roots, hidden from the sun. To harvest them, a farmer had to dig up the entire plant by hand, shake the soil loose, flip it over to dry, and then, one plant at a time, pick the peanuts off. 1 acre of peanuts could swallow days of labor. A whole family bent over in the Georgia heat for an entire season. And here's the question that hung over the entire South. What if you could build a machine that did it for you? A lot of people tried, a lot of people failed, because peanuts are delicate. Squeeze too hard, you crush them. Too gentle, you leave half the crop in the dirt. Move too fast, you bruise them and they rot. It's a nightmare of an engineering problem. And for decades, nobody cracked it. Nobody. Until a company in a small Georgia city decided to try. Remember that name? Albany, Georgia. Because everything you're about to see came out of one unremarkable town that most Americans couldn't find on a map. And what they built didn't just solve the problem, it rewrote the rules of an entire crop. Now here's where the story gets a little strange. Lilliston's first real swing at peanut harvesting wasn't powered by a roaring diesel engine. It wasn't electric. It wasn't even gas. It was powered by a mule. That's right, a mule-powered peanut harvester. Picture that for a second. A contraption dragged through the field by an animal, designed to do what no machine had managed to do reliably before: get the peanuts out of the ground without destroying them. It sounds almost quaint, almost like a joke, but here's why it matters. It worked. It proved the concept. And once you prove a thing can be done, the only question left is, how big can you make it? Because the engineers at Lilliston were just getting started, and the next thing they built would remove something like 80% of the labor cost from the entire operation. Let that number sink in. 80% gone. Imagine you run a business, and someone hands you a machine that cuts your single biggest cost by 80% overnight. You'd buy it. Your neighbor would buy it. Every farmer within 500 miles would buy it. And that is exactly what happened. But I'm getting ahead of myself, because before the combine made them famous, Lilliston invented something else. Something that, believe it or not, is still being sold brand new today. And the story of who's selling it now is the strangest part of this whole thing. Hold that thought. We'll get there. There's a man you've never heard of named C.L. Lehman. And Lehman, working with Lilliston, developed a tool that would quietly become one of the most beloved pieces of farm equipment in American history. It's called the rolling cultivator. Now stay with me, because this is genuinely clever. Old school cultivators were aggressive. They ripped through the soil and tore up everything, including, half the time, the crop you were trying to protect. Lehman's design used angled wheels. Farmers call them spiders, that rolled through the dirt instead of dragging through it. Gentle on the plant, murder on the weeds, and you could angle them away from young seedlings, then turn them back in to hill up the soil as the crop grew taller. Farmers fell in love with it. In cotton, in corn, in peanuts, across the entire country. Here's the line that should stop you cold. Farmers have depended on the Lilliston rolling cultivator for over 60 years. 60 years! Think about how few products survive 60 months. This thing survived presidents, recessions, the rise of the internet, and the death of the very company that invented it. And that's the haunting thing about Lilliston. The inventions were so good, so perfectly designed, that they outlived their own creator. The company would die, the machines would not. So how do you go from this, the undisputed king of an entire harvest, to a name nobody recognizes? That's where the story turns dark. Because the empire was about to hit its peak right before it fell off a cliff. Let's talk about how big this got. By the back half of the 20th century, Lilliston wasn't just a peanut equipment company. In the world of peanut harvesting, the name was practically a verb. Their combines came in a lineup of models that farmers still rattle off from memory like baseball stats. The 1500, the 1580, the 2700, the 6000, the 7500. And here's the context that makes this incredible. Georgia is the peanut capital of the United States. To this day, Georgia farmers grow roughly half of all the peanuts in America, more than 1.5 million tons in a single year. Peanuts are literally the official state crop. So picture it, the #1 peanut state in the #1 peanut country on earth, and the machine doing the harvesting in field after field after field says one name on the side, Lilliston. They didn't just sell machines, they sold the standard. If you grew peanuts, you almost certainly touched their equipment. The company in that quiet Albany town had its fingerprints on a national food supply. This is the top of the mountain. This is the moment in the movie where everything is perfect. The sun is shining, the music is soaring, and you, watching, you already know. When a story looks this good this early, something is about to go horribly wrong. So what went wrong? The answer starts with a sale. A sale that, on paper, looked like a good thing. Here's something most people get wrong about how companies die. They imagine fire, bankruptcy, a dramatic collapse, executives running out the door, headlines screaming the end. But the truth is so much quieter than that, and so much sadder. Lilliston didn't explode. Lilliston got absorbed. A larger company, you might know the name Bush Hog, famous for those tough rotary cutters that, legend has it, got their name when a farmer said the machine eats bushes like a hog. Bush Hog bought Lilliston. And at first, that's not a death sentence, that's growth. That's a respected brand joining a bigger family. Farmers barely noticed, but here's the pattern. And once you see it, you'll see it everywhere in American business. When a big company swallows a smaller one, the smaller one's identity starts to dissolve. The product lines get reviewed. The underperformers get cut. The factories get consolidated. The famous name becomes a line item on someone else's balance sheet. And one day, somebody in a boardroom, somebody who has probably never dug a peanut out of Georgia clay in their life, looks at the Lilliston line and decides it's not worth keeping. That's how farmers describe it in their own blunt way. They bought Lilliston, then dumped the line. Just like that, the Harvest King, the standard, the name on half of Georgia's combines, was discontinued, set down, walked away from. And the official record is even colder than that. In the corporate filings, you can find the entity called Lilliston Corporation, and next to it, 3 words that end a legacy in bureaucratic stone: involuntarily dissolved. Involuntarily dissolved, no funeral, no headline, no farewell from the farmers who built their livelihoods on its machines. Just a status change in a database, filed and forgotten. The Harvest King didn't die in battle, it died in a filing cabinet. But, and this is where the story refuses to end, the machines did not get the memo. Here's the twist nobody expects. The company is gone, the corporation is legally dissolved, the boardroom moved on decades ago, and yet, go look right now. Pull up the farm classifieds in Georgia. The market bulletins, the equipment auction sites, they're everywhere. Farmers are still buying them, still selling them, still running them through the fields every single autumn. 40, 50 years after they rolled out of that Albany factory, these machines are still working. There are businesses that exist purely to keep them alive, stocking new and used parts, refurbishing the old combines, because farmers refuse to give them up. Think about what that means. The company couldn't survive the boardroom, but the machines were built so well that they survived the company. They became ghosts, ghosts that still bring in the harvest. And remember that rolling cultivator, the one C.L. Lehman designed? The one farmers loved for 60 years? You can still buy it brand new. When Lilliston died, another company picked up that design and kept making it. Improved versions, new materials, modern engineering, same beautiful, simple idea Lehman had all those decades ago, still rolling through fields in the present day, under a different roof, carrying the Lilliston name forward like a torch passed in the dark. So is Lilliston really gone? The company? Yes. The name on the building, the corporation in the filing cabinet, gone. But the idea, the engineering, the harvest itself, that never died at all. Now I want to zoom out because Lilliston is not really a story about peanuts. Not at the core. It's a story about a thing that happens over and over in this country, and almost nobody talks about it. A small company in a small town solves an impossible problem. They do it better than anyone. They become essential. And then, precisely because they're so good, a bigger company comes along and buys them. Not to grow them, to absorb them, to own the customers, harvest the brand, and quietly let the rest dissolve. It happened to Lilliston. It's happened to hundreds of names you used to know, the corner brand that got bought out and was never the same, the product that mysteriously got discontinued at the height of its popularity, the factory in a town that built its whole identity around a company that one day just wasn't there anymore. And here's the uncomfortable question I keep coming back to. When that Albany factory went quiet, what happened to the people? The engineers who designed those combines, the line workers who bolted them together, the town that had a world-class manufacturer in its backyard and then didn't. History remembers the machines. It almost never remembers the people. And maybe that's the real reason a story like this matters. Because if we don't tell it, the only proof that Lilliston ever existed will be a rusting combine in a barn and a $30 parts listing online. The Harvest King built the future of an entire crop and got written out of its own story. So let's go back to that barn, the one from the very beginning. The machine rusting in the corner that once did the work of 40 men. Now you know what it is. You know the impossible problem it solved. You know the mule that started it. The engineer named Lehman whose design refuses to die. The 80% of human labor it erased. The half a state's harvest it carried on its back. And you know how it ended. Not with a bang, not with a blaze, but with 3 flat words in a government file. Involuntarily dissolved. But here's the thing I'll leave you with. That machine in the barn, come autumn, some farmer is going to pull it out, change the oil, kick the tires, and run it through the field one more time. Because it still works. Because it was built by people who cared more about the harvest than about the boardroom. The company is gone, the king is gone, but the harvest? The harvest keeps coming in, every single year, on the machines of a company that the world forgot. And maybe that's the most honest monument a company could ever ask for. If this is the kind of story you didn't know you needed, the forgotten giants, the empires that built the modern world and then quietly slipped out the back door, then you already know there are dozens more out there just like it. I'm going to keep digging them up. So if you want to ride along for the next one, you know where the button is. No pressure. The harvest will still be here.